some cool internal shifts happening, which I think will bear fruit for the art. But nothing, I didn't touch this thing. I didn't write any stories. Did dance a bit though. I'm very sick today. I feel like shit. I'm sore all over. And I wasn't going to do this, but I told myself, hey, why don't you just start? And that seems to be a lot of how this is probably going to be happening for a while, is just getting myself to be like, hey, just show up, just do one little thing, and then maybe you do another thing. And just listening to what I'm capable of along the way. And yeah, because I think I had a tendency to really push myself in the past, and it just didn't make me want to do anything. I was a lot too hard on myself, the perfectionism and whatnot. And hence, again, this is why I'm doing this, is to kind of face that and show myself that it's okay. Being scared is okay. Being not ready is okay. Keep going. I already feel all this expectation too, which seems silly. I don't know, I need to maintain the image I had last time. I need to, I didn't expect it to get, I don't know, I think it's 90 views now, which is relatively it's nothing. But I was expecting to get 7 views. And I got a couple of comments too. That was really nice. I appreciated that. But it's upping the pressure a little bit. So, a lot of the work that's going into the projects now is applying for art grants. I think going through this process is an important ritual for me to really recognize that I'm taking this seriously. I've sent out an application to the Canada Arts Council, and I'm going to be doing one for the Quebec Arts Council soon as well. I want to do a documentary, and a big reason for that is I want to get to know my city in Montreal. I want to be around people. It's a good reason to collaborate with others and get myself out there, which I can have a hard time doing. And the documentary is going to be about, there's kind of 2 things that I'm wrestling with, and I'm not sure if I could fit them together, but I really want to. One of them is on, I guess broadly, it's on the mental health crisis, especially for young adults. But I also, it's not just that. I really want it to be about the growing amount of alienation and nihilism, kind of spiritual disorientation that is really growing within Gen Z, I think. And this sense of life is this liminal place. And I'd like to write a proper script at some point or fully lay it out. So that's part of the documentary, is trying to capture that and, on the ground, seeing what people are experiencing, how they make sense of it. Then the other part too, which is maybe more important, is I want to capture how people are escaping this sense of disconnection and nihilism. But what I'm interested in is, where are people escaping to? And the way that my metaphorical mind kind of sees it is where is the mass spiritual exodus? Feels like more and more people are pulling themselves out of the real world, and they're leaving off to this kind of digital plane, but it's also quasi-imaginary as well. It's somewhere else. So a part of the story that I want to tell is sort of highlighting maybe why that makes sense, but that's not it. Mostly, I'm losing my words, I'm getting self-conscious. Mostly, I want to see what collective subconscious yearnings are there that are potentially being revealed in the way that people are escaping. So seeing the escapism not as something that's kind of meaningless and empty, but potentially very, very rich and interesting to explore. And the hope there would be to try to make some kind of analysis about what is this people who feel they've fallen through the crack, that they're in the ether, that they don't belong anywhere. How is their escapist behavior revealing what they truly desire or what they wish was here? I think the sense is that collectively we've drifted very far away from who we are. and making us sick to try to engage with a system that is so far from our nature and to try to pretend to be normal. And the imagination for me is a place to look for answers, but is also potentially a place to find a way back home, so to speak. And I'll be explaining more of what I mean by that pretty soon, I imagine. So yeah, that's the first pass at kind of the general intentions of the art project. I'm sure I have a lot more to say, but I think that's a good start. Yeah, I feel having experienced myself this alienation and this liminality and disconnection from self and sense of disconnection from the world, a lot of what I see my task right now as an artist is to deeply connect with myself and make that bond iron, so that when I go to produce music or I want to tell stories through film, which I think are going to be my primary mediums, although I'm open to wherever, what does Joseph Campbell say? My bliss takes me, to express what I have to say. When I would produce music, I didn't feel that it was very good. And it's, I mean, some of that was just a lack of, skill. I just needed more time to learn how to produce music. But a lot of it was because I was trying to make something that was good instead of listening to what was honest in me and sharing that. And for me personally, but I think it's for all artists, that's something that's incredibly vulnerable and takes an enormous amount of courage. And I think it's a terribly important task that I hope more and more people will do. For anyone who's around this time, it's super cool to see you here again. So I don't think I made as much eye contact this time. A little bit more of a somber tone, but I think it was good. So, alright. Peace out. Hello. So I said, whoopsies. That, at the beginning of this channel is really going to be, like, going over how the sausage is made. And by, like, a pretty sketchy sausage maker. This is still on the day that I'm sick. Also, wait, I should be higher up. I'm looking. When I look here, I'm looking at myself. When I look here, I'm looking at my first monitor. Look at myself, first monitor. I need a nap. Making art's crazy. I would like to spend more time on the projects. Building out these systems over the last week feels important, but I don't want to get into a pattern of doing work around the project as a way to avoid the vulnerable real work of engaging with the substance, with actually the creating of the piece. Most of it now, it's just showing up. I've been telling myself I want to kind of think of it the way that I would play. I used to play League of Legends a fuck ton, way too much, horrible amount. But when I would log on, I wasn't thinking about like, well, is this good or bad or whatever. I was just like, I just want to play. And I would, within the constraints of that game, I would just mess around, do what I want to do. And I want to try to have that same kind of mindset when it comes to making the videos and making the art, because I really got to get soft about this whole thing. I think that's such a core principle for me in terms of making this practice sustainable and to get the best out of me as well. I kind of like this mood. You guys ever seen the cover The book Thirst of Annihilation. Oh fuck. Um wait. This is probably better if you don't see it actually. Dude, straight up. I might just chill here. Just say the realest shit. You're gonna die. People you love are gonna die. So I'm trying to mess around with. I got a blue light. I read one of my poems. I don't know if I at least did the experiment. I don't know if I'm gonna share it. Right? I don't want to be from below. I feel like that's a weird vibe. Right? No, it's a little whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I'll share it. There's another one I want to read too. Maybe I'll do that one quickly. But the lighting now is less. It's a little scary. It's a little bit scary. It's scaring me a little bit. There we go. That's less scary. I look like a young Indiana Jones or something. Maybe it's you can't really see the cardigan. Like the little. I feel like I could go catch myself some archaeology. I remember it all. Like a dream that stands eternal in the stars. Like a storm that calls your name. It was as if dawn herself came down to earth to greet me, to show me what could be, to say goodbye to what could have been, to that tulip in the valley. And the great beyond stood mighty on the shoulders of the mountains, holding this world of dazzling color. And the wind soared and called out your name as the sky roared with purple fire. All that could be, all I was, ready to be born to a world I could die in. He's so good. Going by. Watch. Audio coming in from what I'm. Maybe there's a little bit coming through this. But basically, the way that I'm thinking about this now with the music is that every layer that I put in is. It's like I'm tracking something in the metaphorical world. I'm in the world of the ancestral realm, you know, where everything glimmers, and there's something that calls to my attention, and I'm following it, and every track should feel like not only an accurate representation of that. I don't know if it's an accurate representation. It is like it's my response to my own reaction. There's an even stronger reaction of what
the picture becomes even clearer. And each new layer ideally is doing that. And I want, as much as possible, not worry about I could hear it blasting in my ears. As much as possible, I don't want to worry too much about what's right or wrong, or get concerned with the technicality of it, because that'll pull me out of the kind of quasi trance. Okay, I've had enough of that for now.